All right, sorry, this one came out a little late. There were some editing snafus. Thank you to Magic Medicine Marijuana for getting us so high we can barely speak. This is the Gospels horizontally. What now?
Oh, you're just now starting it?
Yeah, just now starting. Go ahead.
I was chanting my mantra while you were fucking doing your thing.
Oh, bummer, really?
Whispering. I have a whole bite.
The Reading isms, if you will, are fun when I'm editing. It's like I have to go get coffee and you're like doing something and singing songs in the background.
I've been using the mantra a lot recently.
Oh yeah, in a good way. Things good. You okay?
Well, yeah, but like yes, in a good way. Well, I mean, I think the mantra is always good.
Oh yeah, right? Sure.
And so like that whole thing, be mindful of your thoughts, Anakin. They will betray you. And who is it that said, "Don't talk badly about yourself. Don't think negative thoughts about yourself"?
See, that's I don't know, but I have. I don't wonder if other Christians have the same history of just only having bad thoughts. So even saying that gets me triggered. Like, what am I supposed to be a bitch? Am I supposed to be a little pussy?
But then also like worrying, like future tripping. Like for me, that's mostly what it is. So if I when I'm coming up to my checkups, or if I have like some sort of
sure, with the fucking past traumas and whatnot.
And so like instead of like sitting there and getting in this loop, I'll like consciously just start doing the mantra in my head. Because your thoughts, like your thoughts don't define you, your actions do to other people. Right? Like your thoughts
strong this morning.
Your thoughts are just the craziness in your head, right? And I tell, like, my wife and I talk about this all the time. It's like your thoughts don't define you to other people, your actions do. What and your thoughts, that's what you're made of. Those are real chemical firings in your brain. Every one of your thoughts. So it's like, it's not like they don't exist. They're real, but they don't define you until you actually say them out loud. You're a fucking asshole, Leif. You know why?
Oh, it stings.
No, or whatever it is. Or I'm an asshole. I'm just dumb, or like all that stuff.
Oh, so yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, I've been.
But
so anytime.
Did you ever in Catholicism? Did they ever use like guilt against you? Yeah, I just didn't know how long you hung out. I could have seen you being smart enough to dip out as soon as that happened.
No, that was not. Well, they start you so young, man.
Yeah,
you don't even know it's guilt. You don't even realize. What? I can't have sex without condoms. Why? I would have. And buying condoms is wrong. It's like wait. What? So like, I would have had so much more sex when I was young. I didn't even know what the pill was. Like, I remember being in like 8th grade. And this 7th grade girl's like, I'm over at her house and I'm like, what's that, your vitamin? She's like, yeah, vitamins.
Oh my God.
She was already on birth control. I'm like, I had no idea.
Oh my God.
That's
brilliant.
Young Jeff could have like gotten himself into trouble, but she was on the pill. It's like, what? In 7th grade, she was on the pill. I'm like, I think back. I mean, I don't pine, but I think back.
Yeah. Because like the thought processes from the Baptist, I don't even know if I used that word correctly. It's like geared towards your nothingness, how little you're worth, how sinful you are. So like it's considered piety to essentially be almost like sadomasochistic, like in a way. Like,
I never got the part where I wasn't worth anything, but I definitely got the part where you have some shit to atone for. Or you're kind of carrying around a big wet blanket that you have to try to dry out.
I kind of do because I do kind of back out. I think we all are, right? So there's something real about that.
Yeah, well, that's what they want to get you under thumb.
Yeah, they latch on to that mother.
Don't worry, we've got your back. You're a piece of shit, but we're toilet paper. It's like, oh man, that's.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's right. I said it.
I
I'm I'm probably not going to do this because I don't have the balls. But I was thinking of asking my friend um Chris. I'm so bad. I'm so bad. I can only remember her twin sister.
Oh, while you look at
Oh,
it,
Kim
yeah.
Esland, my friend. She's a publicist for the stars. And I was like, hey, I'm thinking, hey, Kim, could you get me an audience with someone at the Vatican when I'm in Rome?
Anyone, anyone.
Don't care.
Don't care.
I'll take a guy in the funny Swiss guard suit, man.
I'll fly over there and suck a dick. You know what I'm saying? We'll I'm totally joking.
Hey, Leif said he'd come over, man. Come on. Let's make this happen.
I think I aged out for them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Hey, you're a little too. Yeah, you're not quite their speed, Leif.
Yeah, they don't really like.
A little too knowledgeable. Years. Yeah. That's hysterical. I aged out. Boom.
Boom. Motherfucking. But do they have spaceships in there? Like, I've never been, but how weird is it that there's like a country that's like,
yeah, like
smaller
10 blocks,
than
10 by block, 10 by 10 blocks. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. How weird is it? There's a country that's smaller than Monaco.
And they seem to have a lot of influence still on everything.
Dude, they have so much money.
So much money.
They got fucking World War II money. They got Holocaust money.
So much. The generation. I mean, yeah, since it's been about 2,000 years now. Those motherfuckers been going a little less than 2,000 years been collected.
They still got all that Spanish gold from when the Spaniards came over and fucking raped the Mexicans, the South Americans.
Oh yeah, I wish we need more knowledgeable people about Rome and Catholicism. Yeah. The people that go to these congregations.
Which congregations?
Catholicism, Baptist. To be honest, pretty much any church in America, most of them have like really decent motives, right? See, before the Pilates thing made me lose my train of thought. I was trying to finish my thought before that edit. I'll just edit from here on out. This will sound real cohesive. Right. Yeah, we've been doing hot yoga like motherfuckers.
Yeah, boy.
It's so hard.
It's hard to be in that fucking room.
It's so hard.
Even stand in that room. No, thank you.
No, we don't even do the hard class. We do it's called yin. You just lay there in each posture for like 5 fucking minutes.
Dude, it's hard. I remember the first hard. Is it vinyasa?
That's one of the postures, I believe, that you do, right? Where you just lay there, but like,
I don't know. No, I mean, like, is it, it's the hottest one there is, right? It's the fucking hot one. Yeah. I did that one time and I was in there for about 15 minutes and I'm like, I got this right up until I didn't have it. And then I laid down and then I went outside and the woman's like, you're going to come back in. I'm like, you're going to go fuck yourself. They don't want you to leave because if you have a heart attack on the way home, it's sort of their fault. And I'm like, I'm not going to that fucking room again. You guys all stink and it's 200 degrees in there. I'm going to go get a fucking cheeseburger is what I'm going to do and a fucking milkshake. God damn it.
And yeah, man, yesterday, because we'll sometimes do like 4 or 5 in a week.
That's a lot.
And then you'll feel kind of invincible, but like 3 days after that last class, you'll be like, I can't walk. Like it'll set in. So we've been kind of trying to slow it down. So this week when I went, I was not prepared. It's like, so I'll drink water, like I'll salt and lemon. I'll wake up early, eat a decent meal, which I don't normally do. And like, I was not prepared. So I go into that class and it was just like, as I'm dealing with all the emotions of my childhood, in this one little stretch where I'm profusely sweating, like nonstop onto the mat, and all I want to do is leave. Right. There's like a super ripped dude in the back that's just going like, and I'm like, he's fucking struggling, And I was thinking to myself, why isn't this church? Like, this would help so much more than showing up and singing like Kumbaya. Like,
don't do some Kumbaya.
It's good. It's good. Oh, it's bad. It was bad of me. That was rude. That was just
no, it wasn't. I'm just joking, dude.
No, it's a banger. But point being, you know what I'm saying? I feel like people would have palatable results of getting better in their life if every Sunday they went to a hot yoga class instead of church.
Yeah, I'll sign off on that.
Right? If you're looking at that Bible, I'm gonna grab a lighter. I'll be right
I'm
back.
looking forward. I can't get my fucking stupid. Yeah, as you were. What are we on?
Oh, this okay, yeah. This will take a second. So the last thing we read was the calling of the disciples, right?
What number?
So it gets a little weird. In Mark, it's going to be the healing of Peter's mother-in-law, 129. You're going to find that same. Oh, wait. Where did you get there?
Healing of Peter's mother. Got it.
And then in Luke, it's going to be 438.
Luke is fucking a windbag.
He does get a lot wrong.
438. And then Matthew.
It's not in Matthew.
Fuck you, Matthew. And then John.
It's not in John.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
we're
Mark.
gonna. The stories do get really. I guess we could call them fragmented at this point. So like,
It's the Bible. Don't give it a preface. Come on.
you see, you're already expected to the. You're just like, no, this stuff sucks.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
No? Okay.
I just want to read it. You're going to tell me what it means before I read it?
No, I'm just going to tell you that the stories don't line up at all like this. So, like, we're going to find one, and we're going to keep going with Mark as our earliest gospel as our base that we're reading all the other stories in the other gospels off of, but they don't line up chronologically in the book anymore. So, yeah, let's do it.
Are you ready?
Are you?
Don't start. And immediately, healing Peter's mother-in-law. I can tell you this is bullshit immediately because Mark is not taking his mother-in-law to get healed to anyone he thinks is actually going to be able to do it. So,
oh my God.
Judy, if you're listening, I'm just kidding. And immediately he left the synagogue and entered the house of Simon and Andrew with James and John. Now, Simon's mother-in-law lay sick with a fever. And immediately they told him of her, and he came back and took her into the bedroom and put the shoes to her. I don't know what that translation might. And he came and took her by the hand and lifted her up, and the fever left her. And then she served them. It's gross. It's somebody's mom. I thought this wasn't. I didn't think they got into pornography till way later.
Yeah, I don't. What? You think that healing from the dead is free? Huh?
Hey,
well,
grass, gas, or ass, lady. Nobody heals for free.
Trying to be a good Christian.
Yeah. Okay, so that's Mark.
That's Mark's rendition.
Yeah. And then Luke goes on to espouse. And he rose and left the synagogue and entered Simon's house. Now, Simon's mother-in-law was ill with a high fever, and they besought him for her. And he stood over her and rebuked the fever. Rebuked the fever. We've all been there before. And it left her, and immediately she rose and served them.
I mean, for the most part,
pretty right in there. Yeah.
Pretty fucking
He's towing the Mark line.
Not a bad job of copying it over the years. Yeah, he heard the story somewhere. We don't know. Maybe he probably had this part written down for him. Let's see. Preaching gallery, Beatitudes. So here's where they deviate pretty much because Luke is going to keep loving Mark. Because you see how the next healing at sick in the evening, healing at sick in the evening.
Yeah.
But Matthew and Luke don't have these. Matthew and John, excuse me.
Okay.
So we'll just keep going through using Mark.
Yeah. Are there do they catch up? Are there things that Matthew and John say that Mark doesn't say?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there. I mean, are there? You know what I mean? Are
stories
there
that are? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, there's different stories. I mean, again, for the most part, all of Mark is pretty much represented in Matthew and Luke. That's why they call them the synoptic gospels, because they all three, like Matthew and Luke. Yeah, Matthew and Luke used Mark as a source. And then there's stories that are exclusive to only Matthew and Luke, and those are called Q, because it seems like Matthew and Luke had another source, some other writings about Jesus that they both copied, because they get these other stories right. But we lost those copies of whatever they were using. Whatever Q was is lost to us forever. Yeah, us today. We don't know fuck one about that. Q Vela. What's it called? Yeah. Oh, Bible nerd shit. I love this, but you don't, and it's kind of funny.
I do not love it.
Did you see what I did there?
Wow, that was like in rhythm. I don't love it. I think my bell is calcified.
See, that's because we've learned to stop talking unless we have three sources. So the fact-checked bells have not been used in a minute. That Peterson thing really threw us off.
I believed you.
I
didn't know it came from him. I totally didn't know it came from him. I thought that was like a dude. If I'd have known, well, I would have believed you anyway, because I believe everything I read, which makes me a more interesting individual. That's Bill Murray. That's not mine.
Yeah. But the fucking, I don't know, his Bible podcast was so banging. And if you don't have people like Dan McClellan to help you with the translations and let you know where you're wrong, it's like, I think that's why he does it. It's Christians don't have a home anymore. And if you can just say nice things about Jesus in a cool way, ex-Christians are like, what? Are you, it would be 132 in Mark and 440 in Luke.
Okay. Departing from Capernaum.
No, healing the sick.
Healing the sick at evening. That evening at sundown, they brought to him all who were sick or possessed with demons. It's funny that those two things are the same.
Yeah. Well, we got to drill some holes in their head to let the demons out, So luckily they're all in one area together.
If only we had a drill. We have to wait around 1,700 years for a drill.
Let's write everything down so people will follow it in the future.
And the whole city was gathered together about the door. Not a very big city, or it's a really big door. And he healed many who were sick with various diseases and cast out many demons. And he would not permit the demons to speak because they knew him.
I love that shit so much.
Yeah. Okay. And then Luke goes on to say, and he rose and left the synagogue and entered Simon's house. No.
Oh no, 440.
Sorry.
No problem.
Now, when the sun was setting, when the lights go down in the little desert town. Now, when the sun was setting, all those who had any that were sick with various diseases brought them to him. Nothing about demons. And he laid his hands on them, on every one of them, and healed them. And demons also came out of many, crying, "You are the Son of God." But he rebuked them and would not allow them to speak, although they already had, because they knew he was the Christ.
There's a little bit of it. I don't know if you caught that change, but in Mark, demons don't say shit. He doesn't, and I think he says that.
He does say that.
He would not permit the demons to speak, so they didn't speak at all. But in Luke, it's because they were screaming who he was,
Yeah.
It's kind of artistic liberty at best, let's say, as far as a copyist goes.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, do we want to continue on reading Luke?
Mark.
and Mark, or do we want to start? Because the Matthew, right after that last thing we read last week, it goes into this really interesting, one of my favorite things, the Sermon on the Mount. So maybe we should just do that. That's like the blessed are the poor, blessed are the meek.
And is he the only one that has it?
Oh no, I think yeah. I feel like it's in Apple, or sorry, I feel like it's in John, but let me look. Yeah, it's only found in Matthew.
Music interlude. Yep. All right, let's do that one.
Yeah, well, no, I think we should save it for next week since we're already through a bunch of readings, because that one should be, we'll give it its own, that could be a whole podcast.
Okay.
Because that really sets up like, and I guess since our readings are kind of sparse, right? We're seeing that already these 4 books, which are the only stories we have of Jesus, period. And these are from this time period, these are the earliest stories we have of Jesus. They're already deviating from each other quite a bit.
Would that make these 4 gentlemen deviants?
Think of the fucking implications of these writings. Like, none of them knew they were writing the Bible when they were writing this down. Whatever scribe, whatever fucking person's acting like Mark, writing for Mark, whatever the fuck was going on. None of them knew that.
No one in the Bible had the Bible.
Yeah, but like, there's this weird argument with like, I've been reading this book by Nietzsche called Beyond Good and Evil. And it's like, it is, Christianity is like the Beatitudes when we get into it. They're like, it's about weakness. It's like the poor and the weak and the pathetic are, that's who God chose.
That's why you and me don't make good Christians. Why we don't make good Catholics. Yeah.
I felt like I was a pretty good Christian there for a long time.
Have we been talking about The Family?
Yeah. I watched that when it first came out and told you about it. Right. And then, so I'm glad you watched it. That's fucking.
We're not done with it.
Oh, you haven't? Yeah, it's cray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were talking about how like I knew that you'd love it because it says that Jesus, if he came back today, would be like a Navy SEAL. He's not weak, and it's okay to fuck over your family because you're in power.
Yeah,
that's where God wants you.
Divorce is fine, obviously, and adultery is good.
Yeah. Well, it's not good, but it's not bad because you can't do bad necessarily because God put you there.
Yeah, you're the elect. You're the chosen of God. Yeah. And it's like I said, like they take out all the theology found in the other books of the New Testament. How Paul is teaching his congregations how to live, and they just focus. They even take out the stories in the Bible where it's in the Gospels where it's not Jesus talking. It's just Jesus words.
Well, which is the little book where it's just the shit Jesus says. Yeah.
It's fucked, man. And it's weird. It always goes
why is it
this
fucked?
way.
Why is it fucked?
Why? Well, because the message of Christ, and that's what I'm excited about.
Let's
the message we have of Christ. Yeah, let's just say the message that when I was like trying to figure out what the fuck this world means as a young adolescent.
The message that the people who brainwashed you say of Jesus is.
Well, I'm saying it like as I encountered these Gospels and you read what Jesus has to say. This is like what I would take away from it. I'm like, this guy wants to help everyone. This guy hates money. This guy, the end of the world is coming. Christ is coming back. Heaven will be here soon. So you need to be working towards reaching people so they can go to heaven, and that's the only thing you should be doing. So when someone's trying to gain power at all and they say it's to reach more people with the gospel, I'm just like, you're wrong. You're when like prosperity gospels
and so if a kid whose dad leaves the family and says, look, I'm going to be back. I want you working towards getting a job. You know what I mean? And and that happens when he's 5, right? And by the time he's 8, he realizes that fucking douchebag is never coming back. And so by the time he's 10, he's running drugs on the street, or he's whatever it is, like he's streetwise. He's got a crew. He's getting his. What's the fucking difference? Is it better to wait around your entire life for something that's never going to happen.
It's weird that you're bringing it up this way too, because there's a direct teaching of Jesus about this, where there's this servant, or excuse me, there's three servants, and there's this master, and he's going to go on a long journey. So he goes to these three different servants, and to the best servant, he gives 10 talents, which is money. And to the next servant, who was the second best, he gives 5. And to the shittiest one, he gives 1. And now that master comes back at a time and a date that he is a surprise to those the Three Stooges here. And he like wants to collect what he gave them. So the first servant comes and he's like, here's 10 and 10 more. Thank you so much. And the master goes, you were faithful with little things. I will make you ruler over many things. Depart into your father's rest. Well done, my good and faithful servant. To the next one, the same thing happens. But to the last one, he gives this whole monologue of like, dude, I was scared. I know you sow where you don't reap and you reap where you don't sow. So I took my talent and I hid it. Here's your 1 talent. And he's like, throw him out into the darkness where there will be gnashing of teeth. And like, so the whole, this like, it's weird that essentially from what we're deducing, Christianity has made that out of Christians. That they're living for, right now they do nothing in their life. I'm wondering if I can make this work. These joints are great. Right now they do nothing. They just worship and they're living for the grave. They're living for heaven. And they're
sitting on their 1 ducat.
And they're, not saying the words they want to say, not jerking off when they want to jerk off, not having sex when they want to have sex. They're doing all these like pretty hard fucking, giving up pleasure now. So they
and
can
they're
going to
get
later.
Tossed. They're going to get tossed by the wayside when JC comes back. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, to be honest, I think I'm too high. I lost it with that. I'll probably edit that shit out now.
No.
It was a long rant.
Don't edit the fucking pee hikes like that. You're taking swings at them. I see. So you're saying that the good servant? I thought it was going to be like the guy with the 1 ducat fucking street parlayed them into fucking a whole bunch of them. But like yeah. So what's the difference between so you can just like edit right back into. So what's the
difference?
I'm just saying that you don't want kids waiting around for like parenting. Now you and I know firsthand is not easy. And it's no wonder that in the 70s and the 60s, like, I mean, even now, parents of either sex leave all the time because it's fucking hard.
It's hard. And
you bring your demons with you. And just because you become a parent doesn't mean your demons leave you or your baggage. You don't fucking check it. You have to walk around with the luggage and this fucking kid on you. So, so if one of them leaves and says, I'll be back, and then they don't, you don't want that kid pining for this person. Obviously they're going to miss their parent, but you want them to realize pretty quick they're on their own. Don't you?
Well, yeah.
Not if you're a Christian.
Yeah, because it's I love picking this shit apart because it does get into some interesting theological debates, like, that same verse you're talking about where God's like scaring them that, I'm going to be back though at any moment. You best be fucking working.
Christ.
Oh yeah. There's like there's a like, don't be drunk.
I'll be right back. Don't put too much water in the.
What?
What is that? But you can't put too much water in the reactor.
But that verse that we're talking about, the story of the talents, there's a verse directly at the end of it that says, to he who has, more will be given. And to he who does not have, even what he has will be taken from him.
That seems like what the family's talking about.
And it's actually a mathematical principle. It's called the Pareto effect law, I believe. I need to go to school. By the way, this is also something said by Jordan Peterson. But this is I know it's an actual mathematical thing.
We're gonna have to fucking
Gotta fucking caveat. I like
caveat
him.
every
I
time
like
Jordan Peterson speaks.
Right.
You just
I
can't quote him
know.
anymore. Just can't
Yeah,
quote him,
it's
buddy.
weird. He's got out in the woods, right? Yeah, well, yeah. I've
Well, have we talked about this? Where it's like, I think that Jordan Peterson is now in the business of being Jordan Peterson.
yeah,
Where before he
exactly.
was like just being attacked for being, speaking logically.
Yeah.
Where now he's like trying to like keep a storm going around him.
That's
a little
exactly what it seems like. Or Joe Rogan
He's
makes these really smart people famous, and then they suck at being famous.
Maybe it could be that too.
I think Joe Rogan needs to give a class to all these like
On how to
Eric
be
Weinstein and all the people that come on and get huge from
what's
his
wrong with Eric
platform.
Weinstein?
He's horrible at being famous.
I
I
think
love
he's
his
great.
podcast. I
What's
listen
wrong
to
with
him
him?
constantly.
What he's not
When he bought the fucking domain for pullitupjamie.com without telling them, like
he did what?
When he bought the domain name pullitupjamie.com and owns that now, like he does a bunch of stuff that he thinks is cool and it's not. Because he's a nerd well, this is too long. And by the way, Mr. Wine, I fucking love you. We need you. You're great. You're just horrible at being famous. We need to
That's funny.
keep hanging around comedians. Like Lex Friedman's doing it good. Sam Harris does it good.
Yeah.
Like you don't get too fucking crazy on one of these
I don't.
fucking
I guess
weird
I don't.
trains.
I don't follow. I mean, I don't follow anybody other than. I don't. Well, I don't know what.
Well, because of this thing, I don't get to listen to podcasts nearly as much. But Lex Friedman and Sam Harris, are like I still do those. In fact, I'm about to. I need to actually give Sam Harris money because I enjoy his content that much.
Huh. He doesn't need.
And he has a brutal debate with Jordan Peterson.
He doesn't need your money.
No, he doesn't. But I do like those conversations, and they're behind a paywall. So if you want the whole fucking conversation, you have to fucking He's even got like an opt out thing where it's like if you can't afford it, then you can do this. And I thought it was going to be like a name your price, but it's not. It's a fucking just half price. And I'm like, bitch, you nerd. Stop fucking calculating numbers and get this good shit out there. Like, I'm sorry, you're living fine. Whatever. I'm sorry, Mr. Harris.
But maybe that's
amazing. Dr. Harris.
Whatever, man. It's cool. But I'd like to see that Jordan Peterson Sam Harris debate. I've never seen it.
It's great because.
But did you fucking? But the Rogan where the Rogan with the UK guy talking about COVID and vaccines and.
Oh no, I didn't listen.
You gotta listen.
Send it to me because I'll forget. Yeah. It's all Bible, but. Yeah, you're about to get fucking. I'm gonna try to let's see, because these stories in the Bible. Well, yeah, maybe. Yeah,
dude. You told me to stop reading, so I'm like, tell me where to read.
No, I was just like, we always get so gloomy. Yeah. Let's do Departing.
Jesus Christ. That's what happens when you let a stoner steer the ship, man.
Yeah,
Let's not read. No, we're getting so grumpy.
Well, I want to talk to you more about life. I just don't want to be like. I just don't want to be like, hey, we should buy a bunch of guns and move to a fucking bunker. Like that's It's
I'm
like,
so
it's gonna get
now
there.
is the time.
It's gonna get there.
I need to. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. Departing from Capernaum, without guns or a bunker in line. No. And in the morning, a great while before day, he rose and went out to a lonely place, and there he prayed.
Emo Jesus.
And
I love
Simon. I'm gonna put a sock in a peanut gallery. And Simon, who's the and Simon and those who were with him pursued him, and they found him and said to him, everyone is searching for you. And he said to them, let us go to the next towns, that I may preach there also, for that is why I came out. That's the Mark version, and the Luke version is, and when it was day, he departed and went into a lonely place.
Same wordage.
And the people sought him and came to him, and would have kept him from leaving them. But he said to them, I must preach the good news of the kingdom of God to the other cities also, for I was sent for this purpose.
So I mean, it does, kind of keep the same mythos. It's pretty much the same,
Yeah,
you
more or
know.
less.
Yeah, but I
Doesn't
do
mention
like emo
Simon.
Jesus.
Well, it doesn't say that he was forlorn or he was
It,
just he was definitely going to Boise, right?
there's a in Mark, Jesus is kind of he
Mopey
seemed.
Jesus.
I actually see him as like just a like one of those really amazing artists that were just and just given all that fucking power,
Can we just start
and
calling
like
him
being
whenever it
bummed
says
out.
can we just start everywhere it says Jesus just say Ben Gibbard?
Plagued with all those feelings. Just deep and deep.
I
Great
love the
songs, thank
idea.
you.
I love the idea of Jesus being of Ben being Jesus. Like he would be a
Definitely
perfect
could.
Jesus.
Yeah, he could. I would say he's. Yeah, it's kind of seems to have the right demeanor, and he's always so kind.
Super nice
He's
guy.
just the nicest guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of
Yeah.
how I see Jesus, as like someone who's really good at painting.
Yeah.
Like someone
Yeah.
who's
Yeah. Really good with words.
yeah, he's like he got too popular, and he just wants to help people, but
Yeah.
like why why is he pulling away by himself in this moment?
Yeah.
And Luke gives way more details. It's like there's a bunch of people there.
Yeah.
And so it's like, did the crowds get too much for him? Because it's weird that his next motive is just to go reach more people in the next town. You know?
Well, I mean, he's on tour, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
That's his gig. They don't
Well, that's
understand.
yeah.
It's like the crowd wanting one more song. It's like the crowd saying, "Hey, do Freebird." He's like, "Man, I got to go."
I got to go
What is it? It's like, but when I come back here next year, I want to see you
again.
again.
When the band's so successful, you can only write songs about being on the road.
Yeah, that's right.
It's usually when the songs start sucking, though, unfortunately. But there's only two more stories that line up, and they're very short. Both from the preaching in Galilee. So let's. I think we can fucking talk some shit there.
Preaching in Galilee, according to Mark, the word according to Mark, and he went throughout all Galilee, preaching in their synagogues, casting out motherfucking demons.
In our earliest gospel, and our earliest witness, as they will say, the smart scholar people. Fucking Jesus can fucking cast out demons. That's fucking cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's a cool party trick.
Yeah. So preaching in Galilee, according to the word, according to Luke. And he was preaching in the synagogues of Judea.
Done.
He got hit with a rock right there. He was going to write more, and he got hit with a rock somewhere. Like they were stoning someone next to him while he was writing. Ah! Forgot what he was going to say.
Exactly. And so for the listeners, the reason we're in Mark and Luke is because the next stories, chronologically speaking, in Matthew, is the introduction to the Sermon on the Mount and the Beatitudes. And in John, it has a discourse with a Samaritan woman, which is this like super long dialogue between Jesus and this, what would have been considered like a heathen Gentile scum. And back then, which should be noted, a woman, because it was basically the same thing, societally speaking. It's wrong. It's bad.
It is wrong, bad.
Kind of cool that the JC man seems to be into some sex workers.
Yeah. He's way ahead of his time.
Dude, imagine that was like a part of church.
Yeah. Well, just yeah.
Just it's
So
like
so where are we? What are we doing?
let's talk some shit because the next what we'll do is probably read up in John and Matthew in the next one or two.
Okay.
So we kind of
talking shit about a mile a minute. Put the wax on the table. Let the DJ spin it.
It is crazy that like think of how many different like Thanksgivings have been ruined by people's interpretations and opinions on these four books. And they're not even that long. They're like They're not even that long. 600 words sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, I don't know. I don't, do you, this, compared to some of the other writings we have from this time, it's a little bit, it's kind of like the difference between coffee and cocaine, you know, like they're not the best stories actually written
Not
wise.
the best stories.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Like it's not as much, it's not like the Stoics.
I don't know what those are, but I mean, you're talking about this compared to other stories. They're so short.
They're so
Like,
short.
I mean, and like you're saying, we're about to hit some long ones, but it's like that.
Yeah.
It's such a strange thing to like what turned us away from the New Testament initially. It's not any less, confounding that these. It's like this big, the thing you've heard of all these years.
Mm-hmm.
This many lines.
Yep.
Like, what? That's all you got? You're basing this entire part of, this piece of the pie, this religious pie, on he went out to the desert for 40 days and he was tempted. It's like this much. It's like, yeah, I don't know about all that.
Dude, and it's funny as you're saying this, I had this repressed memory, and it's a good place to share it. So I used to do a lot of Bible studies, meaning I would go to random people's houses and open the Bible and you read it just like this. And so at these, one of them, there was like a younger but sweetheart of a guy. And he was like kind of climbing the ranks in the church, and we would be reading the Bible and he'd point at this and be like, okay, this is what this means. And so he'd be like the 40 day, he'd have explanations of how, so that means you can't jerk off. He would draw these black and white lines. And that was, I think I was about 26, 7. And that was the first time I started really questioning.
It's cray cray.
It's like
Dude's making shit up.
We didn't talk about translations. We didn't talk about times and dates. You like read an old poem. And then you fucking stopped jerking off. Now you have no internet in your house.
That means cut down the roses.
Well, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, no. Yeah. Yeah, no. No, it doesn't.
I didn't want to be rude. I stopped.
It don't mean that shit. It don't. You know what the fuck that means.
Yeah, we can at least start there. If we don't know what the fuck any of this means, that's a great place to start. Like I think that's where we're at, right?
That's where that's where every day should start there.
Isn't it? It's beautiful.
I hope so. Beautiful. I'm not a serial contrarian. I just want to start every day.
Just play one on the internet.
I just truth hurts.
Dude, we haven't done shit. What are you talking about? We haven't posted anything in 5-6 months. I think it's cool.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I haven't put up anything. Not
you put the videos up.
Oh, we put up our conversations. Sure. Yeah. That's doing fine.
Yeah. That's
doing great. But I think it's still cool that people are still listening, even though we don't use social media at all.
Fuck it.
We put the work in here. I put the work in finding weird scholars to fucking battle out their ideas, so you guys don't have to.
Maybe we should see if Ben Gibbard Jesus would come on our show.
I'd fly up there for that. I'd not smoke weed in that room for that interview.
Yeah. Well, I'm totally on board with having it like this if it has to be.
It does if it works for. He'd be great. He was so nice. He was so very nice. I have actually, this is a great story to tell here. Nick Harmer, the bass player, I've only met him one time in my life, but Nabil,
the bass player for Death Cab.
Yeah. Okay. Nabil is just so cool. Like he's one of the nicest guys I've ever met. And so he would, when he signed Siren Sister, and he would always just like hire me to do shit because we'd always be on tour broke,
Yeah.
And so he invites me to him and Nick's birthday party. And I thought when he said Nick, it was Nick Cates, who is the bass player from 3 Inches of Blood and this really amazing band back in the day called Kane Hodder that I was obsessed with. Love them.
Yeah.
And so Nick's like the god of thunder to me. Like I love that man. He looks like John Belushi, kind of just huge fucking, and he's just like a monster bass player. So we have history. So I buy Nabil like a weird, because what do you get him? I don't know. So I bought him like a Muscle Woman magazine, and like signed it like one of them signed it, you know.
Uh-huh.
And then I bought Nick Cates a Metrosexual Dining, and that's what it was, Metrosexual Dining magazine with like two really like, you know, guys on it, and I signed it, you know. And so I go to like what's Homeboys from Soundgarden's place over in Ballard. Ben's place.
the rose, the little tiny bar.
Yeah, yeah.
The Hawthorne,
it's right over there on.
God damn it!
Right? God
It's
damn. Hazelwood.
Hazelwood True
Hazelwood.
Church. Mr. Drew Church.
One of the fucking
Mr.
other. It's all these amazing bass players. God, he's so goddamn good. Anyway, so I walk in. There's Nabil. There's Nick Harmer from Death Cab, and I give Nabil his magazine. I'm like, "Happy birthday," you know, like, you know, and he's like, "You fucking idiot," you know. And then I'm like, "Where's Nick?" And Nabil like gives me like that look, and he like points right there, and it all dawns on me right at the moment that like, oh, I got invited to this guy's birthday party, not my metal friend's birthday party. And so I just reluctantly hand him the Metrosexual Dining. Like,
and he's like, I already have that one.
I've never even met him, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was pretty weirded out.
That's hilarious.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, I don't know any of that. I started meeting Ben just around like, and you know how like you stand there with like a group of people and you know everybody else, and so everybody just assumes you know that person, so nobody introduces you, and it's just like whatever. Yeah. So at some point you just start acting like whatever, you know.
Is this with Squires then?
No,
it's kind of the same thing. Oh yes, because that's how I know Ben is through Squires.
It was Roderick and Duff.
Okay.
And it was at the Hurricanes, the Western State Hurricanes reunion.
Killer.
That was like one of the first times.
Okay.
And we're standing there, and he's talking about the you know, there's another football league. It's like the XFL or whatever.
Yeah.
And Seattle had a team, or if they do or whatever. He's talking to him like, and I'm like, Seattle's got another fucking football team? Why? And I'm like, and he's like into like sports or whatever, and I'm kind of like leaning the other way. And so he's like, I don't know what he said, but I don't know if he thought it was very funny at all. It didn't come off as funny because I'm.
I bet it did.
But then the last time I saw him, when we went down to Nabil's book signing down at Sonic Boom, and I took Cole.
Yeah.
And
we took Crosby that down here too.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I think we talked about that.
Yeah.
But Roderick's there, and we're standing out there, and I'm just sitting here talking to him, and Cole's in there record shopping, and then Ben walks up, and so like we're sitting there talking about Squires and how there was no way he was going to get the Sunny Day real estate gig because he was out with Ugly Kid Joe, and I'm like, there's no way Sunny Day is going to, and now they're bummed because he like, you know, and then he got the Peter Hook gig. So I was like,
yeah, he took that one over, I believe. If we were to ask him, I think he wanted to play with that icon.
Yeah, well, they wanted him to come up for a week of whatever. It's like whatever. Yeah. So we're all sitting there, and then like so me and John and Ben are standing there, like we all, you know, like we're like thick as thieves. Although I've never been introduced to Ben.
Yeah,
and then Cole comes up, and he's got this Aphex Twin record, and Ben's like, that's my favorite record on the planet. And Cole's just like, and I'm like, Ben, this is my kid Cole Benson. Now Cole's been introduced, but I haven't. Yet. But then we leave, and I'm like, you know who that was? I was thinking,
dude, that guy will follow you into the dark. That guy's got Twilight money. Yeah. He got that vampire.
There was a time where that record, I don't know if those are all on the same record.
No, but the Postal Service shit after that, it was, all the Death Cab shit went through the roof after that.
But is the Postal Service the I'll Follow You into the Dark? Is that Postal Service?
No,
that's Death Cab.
Yeah.
But the one about
One of the best songs ever written.
Crooked Teeth. Crooked
Fucking
Teeth.
great song. Great band. Great band.
Fucking that when they did like those 2 songs they did on Saturday Night Live.
So good.
Crooked Teeth, and I forget the other one. But they were just like
Davidson always used to call him Ass Grab for Booty. He's like, hey, you want to go see Ass Grab for Booty?
That's so funny.
I do. I love that shit.
Because I'm 12.
Potty poo poo. PG humor is fucking the best. But.
Yeah, no, it is. Usually, see, I don't think it's funny unless there are balls involved. So that's my thing. The ass grab for booty, I wouldn't really. If you say ass grab for balls and booty, balls, then I think
it's true. It's true. I do try to drop that every once in a while. I love that the stories about Jesus this week were so boring that we allow ourselves to do this now. And if
I'm
you
following
made it
your
this
lead
far,
now.
I
tell
think
me
it's
which
good.
way to go. Yeah.
I think it's fucking good.
Awesome.
It's so weird when you first meet famous people that you like kind of idolize or like their shit, you know, and you just don't know how to act around them. And like we could have a whole separate podcast of me being homeschooled around these people. And there's like moments where I've embarrassed myself so hard, like 12 years ago. I'll just be showering. I'll be showering. I'll just be like,
just bummed.
There's like, so many.
Just like
there's like 14
foundationally
years,
bummed.
Just bummed talking about Jesus. Think, you know, like the weirdest conversations about like.
So funny. So that's so funny because like I remember when I was a senior, after a senior year of high school, my senior trip was like 3 weeks. I went to New York and visited my family there.
Cool.
And my buddy who had graduated the year, he was a year younger than me, but he graduated the same year, whatever. He was going to the Joffrey. He's a ballet dancer. And so we hung out when I got there. And he was like, well, he was a ballet dancer. So he was like much more worldly than I was, you know, as a senior growing up in Edmonds, Washington, whatever. And we're at this party and we pick up these 2 girls and the cute one is like, seems to be sort of into me. And we're like walking to another party and the sun's sort of coming, you know, it's like it's night and it's late, you know, because it's New York.
Because you're living.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, because New York's open all night.
And we're talking about like religion, and she's like, well, what do you believe? And I'm like, I just say this shit that to this day I can't believe came out of my mouth, that I was that like indoctrinated that I'm like, well, you know, I know Jesus died for our sins. And that's like where I start.
Oh, man, yes.
And I say like one other thing, and so sinning is wrong. You know, I'm like just thinking back and like
you're
I
just
said
like
this,
walking backwards.
Like my game is like just like with every word is just like
just
folding into a black hole.
Yeah, you're just walking to your doom.
And I can, because it is one of these. And then she like walks forward to where her friend and Daryl were walking, and then the next thing I know, her and Daryl are having the conversation. Well, you know, it's really, and he's like, you know, espousing, you know, like he's like eloquently
philosophies and
like, he died for our sins,
dude.
You are not getting laid. You don't know.
See,
that's
I would
when I realized
say that I would do that to not get laid. No, I'd always said this. There's a Kirsten from Rockaroki she always quotes me on this, that I was like, Jesus always kills boners.
Yeah.
Like if you ever need to get out of a sexual situation where someone likes you, you can just start talking about the Gospels.
That's a pretty good one, actually. Now that you mention it, not that I'm never in that position where I need to talk myself out of it. I wish that I had that at some points, though.
Yeah, the awkwardness is like Jonah.
Well,
for
you know,
me.
yeah, maybe I'll throw you a bang. But first, could you tell me, have you accepted Jesus Christ as your personal savior?
Yeah. Where do you stand on adultery?
What do you think about Jesus and the woman who was going to get stoned?
I mean, yeah, I would always go I try to go to positive stories, but like I was really concerned about reaching people for the salvation of Christ because they're going to burn in hell.
Ooh,
So you just
yeah.
meet this really cool person, have all these really fun conversations, and you're like, oh, I don't want you to die. And like Jonah Bergman was one of them. Thank God. He's like you, Squires, obviously, are like very instrumental in my life, right? Of like long conversations of like, what? Like, like everyone else
Like
just
that puppy.
yeah, like, what do you mean? What do you mean science?
Your ears perk up.
Yeah, because like no one would, they would just, I was so into it and kind and like wide-eyed, geez, not a sin on me, that they would be like, I don't want to ruin this guy's day,
Yeah.
But Bergman, we're on this crazy long tour. It was like fucking.
You've told the story.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to retell stories now. Is that a thing?
No. You've told it a couple times.
We're not allowed to retell stories a couple times, Jeff. Ready? Just wondering if you're opening this gate for future podcasts. That's all.
Well, it's easy. It doesn't go the other way because I don't remember anything I ever said. So I always preface it like, I've probably told this story.
Because I just save everything for the correct enunciations.
Right.
I edit that out too.
You're parallel with my wife now. He's like, yeah, I've heard this one. I'm like, yeah, I know you've heard this one. Fucking just take it. My wife loves me, and I don't know why.
Well, you're great. What are you talking about? We're not even to get there.
That's true.
Let's see. The family thing to end it is weird, right? How this.
Oh,
wait.
Jesus, yeah.
We started a little late.
It's still going.
We should keep talking some shit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still going.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, this is. It's.
I didn't finish it, so I don't. You can tell spoilers if there are some. But did that dude die yet? Did Cole or Kale? Yeah. He's dead. Who took over?
The main guy. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But there's another one you need to watch that's even crazier, and it's more recent, and it's about the Trinity University. Have you ever heard of this? Jerry Colwell's kid.
Falwell?
Yeah, there we go. It's all about him.
His kid.
Well, what happened? It's like his wife is super. Like they got together when she was 13. They started dating, essentially, hanging out together.
Gracious, and they got balls of fire.
Yeah, they got married when she was 18, like on the day, or maybe even 17. I don't know.
Right, whenever the day was, she was allowed to.
Yeah, and so now they're like the head of this massive Christian university that when you go there, you have to sign a thing that says you won't have any type of premarital sex or any type of foreplay, drinking, no dancing, and they have fuckloads of money, make all these fucking super political people, and they have like Trump speak at their fucking, and they got everyone on board from the evangelical side,
right,
for the Trump train, but like. Way back in the day, they started a business with this 22-year-old, very attractive pool boy. They gave him millions of dollars, and they were working with because he was fucking his wife all the time. It's a great.
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, it's a great, and it's like him finally coming out and telling the story. And there's like there's photos. There's like
this one I can't understand. There's you. There's Gino. What's with the midget?
And there's like they party, they drink, they get fucking wasted. There's a picture of that dude with his shirt up and his huge belly out with a huge cup of scotch, with a pregnant like not 20-year-old. Like
Trinity College, this thing is called.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what it's called.
No, I can't remember. Let me look it up while we're here because it's on Hulu. But it was a fucking banger.
That's awesome.
It's called God Forbid.
That's called God Forbid.
Yeah. It's really good. Another story that I've told on here way too many times.
Yeah. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, no,
that's sorry. I'm sorry. Sometimes I just fucking shit comes out of my mouth and I don't mean anything by it. I'm so sorry. Don't listen to fucking me. Don't listen.
What do I like listening to you? I'm gonna keep listening.
Now when I'm
to you.
being a fucking fuck me in the butt.
So
And I would be extra mean too because of my lack of rectum. So go ahead.
I'm texting you the trailer for this
Oh, good.
because you're gonna enjoy it. Well, that was so I got to play in this. I got to play in a couple Christian bands that were kind of like noteworthy or whatever. Signed, again, not exactly a hard thing to do in the Christian realm, but like,
should we like go deep undercover and start a Christian rock band and become huge?
Right now it'd be hard because they would find this pretty much instantly, but yeah, it would be so easy.
What if we did this and then like in the next episode, like, and then like slowly like turn the corner and be like, this like in the last few episodes, this has really been touching me, and I've been having dreams about Jesus, and I had this song. I dreamt that we played this song in front of a lot of people, and they were like, and it touched people. I think we should maybe we've been looking at this all wrong, Leif. Maybe God is
accept
great.
it. We could go on a whole speaking circuit, especially in the South, and we could make a living off just charging churches money. Yeah, it's great.
And we'd like play videos of us talking about child rape and Catholic pornography.
This is where we were a year ago. But now Christ has come in.
And we would rather be here. We would rather be
redeemed
here than with the finest people in the world.
You've got to see the vernacular is constantly evolving, so all you got to do is find the words they're using a lot. Lately, it's been challenge. I'd like to challenge. So I felt challenged in my heart that I could be wrong. So I dug deeper into the Bible and, if I'm being honest, myself. Right? You just say that kind of shit. It's funny. Sad. We used to have like a guy that would come into our church, and he was so cool. And he was a scientist. And once a year, he'd set up all these different bones, and he would talk about the evidence for creationism with these dinosaur bones and whatnot. And that's pretty interesting to me because I love dinosaurs. And if you're a Christian, you believe that God put those bones in the ground to test your faith. So it's a little bit hard to walk that line of spending hours looking at my dino books when I was a kid. But he would come in and give all these cool presentations. And at one of the presentations, he was talking about the Muslim faith system. And he said, yeah, people on this side of the world believe in a different God. And because he said that, they didn't allow him to come back to the church ever again. And all he was doing was like correcting someone's question, like answering someone's questions. Well, we can't get over there because they have a different religious belief. So they have, blah, blah, blah. And like, just because he brought up
liar,
Muslims. Yeah.
Heretic.
Yeah. So you do have to walk that line. Like
blasphemy.
If you get caught like doing anything bad, it's over.
Yeah.
Well, I guess not. That's what the family's teaching us. Maybe that's
not if we're in power, baby.
Yeah. Just keep on moving.
Yeah. Bob and weave.
Bob and weave. I guess that's so unfortunate that that's what people do with this book, huh?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. It's just bizarre to me that they like. There's so much. I mean, we're not very far into it. And
yeah.
But we are going through the parts of that Jesus Christ is involved in. The rest of it is all like, who cares about the rest of it?
It's really
a bunch of dudes. It's a bunch of dudes, man.
Well, like some of the dudes actually are. Even Paul is kind of pro woman. And maybe it's the right. So it's really hard to tell if Paul was actually against women or if it's like the people that were writing for Paul at a later date were against women and changed it.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, yeah. So it's kind of a mystery, but the unfortunate part is what's in the book. Is bullshit. Is very much against women, and what's in the book is actually what you'll read is unfortunately against. Homosexuals, like anyone's, which is weird because it wasn't in the originals.
Yeah,
but that doesn't fit these people's narrative. What they want to use the book for.
Narrative, good word.
It's so weird, right? No, this means this. Like even like I know I'm a fucking Jesus fuckboy, And by the way, I dropped that at the park the other day talking to people, and it was funny that because I just talk like I talk to you, it's so funny.
That go over.
Well, luckily, in Santa Monica, everyone's so liberal. It was
Right.
great. We were talking about growing up super religious, so it landed. But I was like, as
waiting.
as the words left my
Yeah.
mouth, like the ship goes out into a storm.
trying to suck the bubble back in because it's going to envelop your face when it pops. Yeah. Okay. Good. Dodged a bullet there, huh? Don't let it back in, buddy.
Yeah.
Fight the boar.
I just don't know. It'll be cool when we could, if we read the Beatitudes, it's statements of Jesus. Like if you were to open up a Bible, this would be read. Obviously I'm saying it this way because we know, but now we won't just see a little bit of his history and how he came about. We'll see like what he actually has to say. What he, not what Paul's saying about him, but what he on a fucking hill,
Right.
is fucking telling people.
Oh, in a perfect world, because no one. Yeah.
No,
I'm not going to say it again.
There's
I'm
no
gonna break a record.
eyewitnesses. No, we have that. That's if nothing else, this helps so much. And there's a couple people I've been trying to get on. There's this. I haven't reached out yet because I don't want to word it right. But there's right. I'm not. I'm a Jesus fuckboy. It goes back to me in the shower, just like
I can't believe I said it out loud.
No, that was Slash. That? Did you know that was? So, there's people that can accept all the weirdness that comes with this book and still somehow seem to have really good, productive, beautiful lives from the structures they find within the system. And I think that's kind of interesting to me, like the Kevins,
I like that part. Yeah. That's great.
there's this Aaron something. I think he's like ADB
Sorkin?
Bible. Aaron Sorkin's the best.
Just kidding.
Don't even.
But I think the problem is that those people are the exception, not the rule. Because they're taking it and doing what they decide with it, as opposed to they're not the herd. The herd just drives me crazy. I don't understand the herd
It's
at
so
all.
weird.
I understand the shepherds. I understand the family. I understand the Trinity. I understand that. That's just like using it as a tool, just like everybody else has. But the part where you just are going along with what someone tells you,
It's a nice
thing
community.
means.
It's a nice community. Like you in that stream, you have
true.
zero worries. It's bowling with bumpers on with your life.
Yeah. Okay.
It doesn't fucking matter. Uno is so much fun. And those, when you go over to people's house, like that, dude, I have some fucking super Christian friends, and I'm not gonna lie, going over to game night at their house is fucking almost as fun as drugs. It's great.
Yeah.
They know how to
Oh,
party.
I hear you. You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
it's like a clean
Community.
comedian. Some of them are good.
Mike Birbiglia.
Yeah, exactly. He's so good.
Yeah.
God, I love him.
Yeah. Where are we? I got to go.
Yeah. We did enough. We just started a little late, so
okay.
I wanted to make sure it was at least an hour because it's down a little bit. Yeah. Next Thursday. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, I love you, buddy.
All right, love you too. We'll talk soon.
Okay, bye.